Let me ask you a question. Do you know what you love to do? And do you know you are worthy enough to actually do it? This really matters, and here's why. Someone was recently telling me about how he was having one of those days when he asked himself, why do I work? Now, the obvious answer would be for a paycheck to pay bills. But of course, me being the inquiring coach that I am, I asked him a question in return. And I said, why don't you do work that brings you pure joy? How many of you can relate to this situation? See, we go through so much of our life just existing, and we watch others do the same exact thing. We watch our parents, our friends, our coworkers, and people we encounter in stores, at church, and so on, just doing the same kind of things. And then when we have children, we hold on to some glimmer of possibility and hope that maybe things can actually be different. Maybe it's because there's some lingering thought from our childhood that reminds us of that and possibilities, and we tell our kids things like, oh, the sky is the limit. But what happens is this is very short-lived. And then we later remind our kids that the world is a cold, harsh place, and we tell them they should play it safe and make sure that they get a good education so that they can get a good job. And this was my story growing up, and with my friend, it was the same with him too. Now, the interesting thing is, this man has a high-paying salary, a really great package of benefits and perks from his job, but yet he still wasn't even able to identify what pure joy means for him. And so it's no surprise then when someone speaks about joy that it's hard for him to conceptualize it. And many of us go through this struggle because we're taught that money should be our chief concern throughout life. Now, don't get me wrong, money is important, but most of us have never been allowed or even taught that we get to choose what joy means for us individually. But I believe the greatest gift that we can ever give someone is our own happiness. Because there is so much disease in the world, and I don't just mean physical disease, but mental and emotional torment from living an unfulfilling existence, or a life of quiet desperation, as Henry David Thoreau called it. And what is the result of this way of life? Well, you can see that people project their misery and their dissatisfaction onto others, and some do it consciously, but most do it unconsciously. They practically beg partners, children, friends, parents, and society at large to love them. And then when the person or society inevitably fails to return that love, and the person fails to get their needs met from outside external sources, they become demanding, angry, and even controlling, to the point where it becomes a vicious cycle of codependency, dependency, and maybe even narcissism. And that pattern has been repeated thousands of times over and over, and frankly, it needs to stop just once and for all. So take up your mantle, declare what you want, declare what brings you joy. And if you don't yet know what that is, but you want to know, declare that too. Make a decision to dedicate yourself to discovering what joy means for you, please. And why does this matter? Why do I even care? Because the world needs you to be happy. The world needs you to get out of misery and into a better feeling place. Your children need it. Your community needs it. And most of all, you need it. Because when you are in joy, several things begin to happen. You become more magnetic. You become more influential. You are charming. And not in a sociopathic kind of way, but in an authentic, genuine way. When you're in joy, the sun shines brighter, and the colors around you and in nature become brighter. Traffic becomes better. When you're in joy, your health improves, and you can actually breathe easier. When you're in joy, everyone else around you is even a little more beautiful. And by you serving yourself and your joy, it also does a lot for humanity. That's the way I believe we can actively begin to increase cooperation and reduce conflict in this world. And that's how I honestly think that we can begin to achieve peace here on earth. So here's the invitation. If you're sick and tired of living a life of quiet desperation, without fulfillment, or knowing what brings you true joy, and you're ready for a deep, profound, and lasting change, then please reach out. I have a few slots open for one-on-one services, and this goes far beyond what I offer in my group coaching programs. But you will get all of those resources included as well. So I also include individualized, customized hypnosis meditations, and audios to help you get to the core of your specific individualized issues that may be holding you in an unfulfilling cycle of self-denial, lack of joy, and dissatisfaction. So reach out, and I'll see you soon.